slow turn me down.
Slow turn me down.
So, I'm more of a concern.
You're more concerned. So, alright, a little background. So, John and I met a while back.
That's who you say.
So, just, we were going to talk about topics that are hot topics. We'll eventually expand this out a bit more and we'll get your questions and call in. John's friends will be able to do it. But I don't have a
Hey, welcome to We Might Disagree with Brian and John and special guest Julie. Thank you for joining us tonight. A little late tonight, no, we said 6 o'clock. Again, that's my fault, so I'll take responsibility for that, not the producer this time. But anyway, we are live. So, lots to talk about. We were going to originally do our show last week on abortion. We then pushed it off to this week on abortion. And then given everything that's taken place in the last week, we're going to just kind of touch all topics. So we're going to start out with Bernie, which is why Julie's here. As you know, she's very passionate about Bernie, and she realized today what I've known all along. He's no different than Hillary. Come on,
stay down.
I'm going to fall out of my chair.
So we're going to discuss that first, and then we're going to get into the shootings. We're going to talk about Hillary and the indictment, what's going on with that, and then we're going to also deep dive in a little bit, 3 white people, to talk about Black Lives Matter. I think it's important we listen to Hillary and do what she suggests we do, and we'll talk about it. So I do want to start out, though, with I am not shocked at what Bernie did. So, I mean, I think he had to do this.
I agree.
And I know you're devastated by it, but, at the end of the day, there is a political machine out there, whether we like it or not, and he's a part of it. And that's, Donald Trump's a part of it, even though he wants to say he's not. He is. We talked about it last week, John, you and I, how you made the comment that he said Hillary was a great Secretary of State, and I said, well, he was giving her money. So he's a part of that machine as well. So just met Julie on Facebook through her passion for Bernie. I've never been a huge Bernie fan. I like the guy. I always liked his integrity. I don't think he's lost a lot of that with me. A little bit. But, Julie, talk to us how you're feeling, man.
Well, I don't feel, you said he's part of the machine. I think he's a different part of the machine. He isn't taking money from Wall Street, from big donors. He ran his campaign honestly, smoothly, as far as anyone can tell. I don't think there's been anything to the contrary. I do agree that he had to endorse her, being the presumptive nominee, in order to get speaking time at the Democratic National Convention, which is coming up in just a couple weeks.
What do you think his message is?
Rumors are flying. Right now, he's...
Rumors? I love rumors. Let's hear some
flying.
rumors. Because I heard he's going to be on the Trump ticket.
No, I don't think that will happen.
Yeah. Talking about that earlier. I was just saying.
He did put out a release after he endorsed her. To me, the endorsement looked uncomfortable. It didn't look like something he was really wanting to do, but something that he promised to do from the beginning.
Looked comfortable to me.
Oh, it looked so uncomfortable to me.
It was awkward. Hands out. And
I'm gonna cry.
Were they holding hands?
I don't think they were.
They did side hug for a minute, and I think I almost puked in my mouth a little, but.
So here's my thing on it. Hillary has every right to say, you can't speak at my convention if you don't endorse me, because it's her convention, right? She's got the delegates at this point. Even though I did see somewhere where one of her delegates has been arrested.
Oh, many.
Yeah, we might talk about that later. So she might lose that superdelegate.
Well, there's several that have been arrested, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 or 4.
She's got some issues. She's got the Republican Party problem of 10 years ago.
And did you watch this morning? They had what's the Department of Justice? What's her name? Loretta Lynch.
Loretta Lynch.
They had her in the hot seat right before Bernie went on with his endorsement, and she deflected everything back to Comey. She basically said, look at his reports, I just went with the recommendation of the committee. I don't know if you watched it this morning.
I didn't see it.
I just felt like she was, from what I understood, she didn't even read the reports herself. She just went based on the recommendations of the, Department of Justice. So I thought that was kind of odd that, in such a high profile.
I think she should have read it, but I think.
In a high profile case, you would think she would.
I would love to have people text in some questions, because I just don't understand the whole bill going on the airplane. That right there.
That was odd.
That came up this morning.
I think that forced Comey to do what he did because he had to protect himself because he knew at that point everything was compromised. Because Bill didn't do that on accident.
No.
I don't think they were going to indict her ever, but you know, for him to do what he did, and I watched the way they drew. I watched that whole thing because I was on a vacation last week, and they were on him, and they had right to be. How can you sit there and John, you're a lawyer.
Sure.
You can speak to this, and don't twist it. Be straight up with it.
Would I ever
You're
twist
a lawyer.
anything?
That's what I watched all
I
day
am
long. I watched a
offended.
Democrat praise the man, and I watched a Republican beat him up, which is just makes me sick.
I watched the Democrats deflect to the shooting. Well, not that it shouldn't be addressed, but it wasn't the platform
Well,
to be discussing it, in my
I
opinion.
think because she had originally said one of her deals when she took office or took this position, this seat, that she was going to work on relations between black people and the cops, and she hasn't done any of that.
No,
obviously.
she
If she
hasn't.
has, she's done a horrible job because nothing's better. So I think that's why they were probably deflecting to that. It's a legitimate deflect. I will say that. But back to how can you say? So here's the way I interpreted it. I take things to the extreme. So when they asked Comey about the perjury and all that other stuff, because he said she lied, that was obvious that she didn't give honest testimony. He said, but that wasn't part of my investigation. So I'm thinking to myself, if Comey's investigating me for drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he discovers that during my investigation I committed a murder, he doesn't pursue me on that?
Well, I mean,
That's what he said.
the most
essentially.
famous case in history is the blue dress with Monica Lewinsky, which was completely beyond the scope of the Whitewater
Exactly.
investigation that was being conducted by Kenneth Starr. So, and frankly, I thought that was terrible precedent. That
I didn't like it.
you know, to go that far afield from what your call is. And so there is a sense that it should be narrow in scope. Now, you know, the example of a murder, sure, that's probably
That's
something
extreme. I said I took it to the extreme.
Yeah.
Perjury, though, to me that's a serious charge, and I don't know why he didn't.
But see, I don't, let's
Those are
talk about
Clinton.
perjury for a little bit, because, people love to use the Fox footage, and they've done a masterful job of editing it and going back and forth, but, perjury cases are few and far between. You have to show an intent to mislead. I don't think that, with respect to what was known, and you laughed about it, but the State Department still takes a position that I think we're literally talking about 3 emails that were marked as classified. And again, there's a distinction between knowing something should be classified and having it be classified. And I think that the legal repercussions between those two things are very, very distinct. So, but with respect to the things that were marked as classified, my reading of the record, and I've studied it very closely, is that there are 3 emails that were marked, and now the State Department takes a position there are actually only 2, and that the information that was marked as classified, in point of fact, really isn't classified. So before we get too bent out of shape with respect to there being a case for perjury, first you have to remember very few cases are ever prosecuted. Showing under these circumstances that she intentionally was trying to mislead people, while at the same time she is meeting with them. She could have invoked her Fifth Amendment privilege. She didn't do that. Now, obviously, she wasn't recorded. She wasn't under oath, so that's problematic with respect to that. I just don't see it as a case for perjury.
And I hope you're being objective to it. I just don't. I feel like if it was somebody else, it wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have gone that smooth.
Well, this isn't just anybody else. This is the Secretary of State.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And that's what I think too. When it comes to perjury, you're talking about Clinton. You just talked about Ken Starr before, right?
Sure.
And where he went down with her husband, and
Right.
it's the same thing over and over again. And it just, I don't know. I'm just baffled, and I'm baffled that the American people put up with it.
I'm baffled. I mean, she deleted, and aren't there 30,000 that are not recoverable? Like that we don't know what
Yes.
was in them?
Yes, 30,000 emails have been deleted, and deleted in such a way that they're not recoverable. And he even said we were able to recover some of them, but he said somebody went to great lengths to make sure these were deleted. So it wasn't like like I hit a delete button.
Which means there was
See,
some
I
intention.
didn't hear his statement.
No, he said that. He said that under oath. I watched it.
You're talking about his testimony for
His
Congress.
testimony, yeah,
All right.
for Congress.
That was Comey.
Yeah, Comey. He said that they were deleted in a way we couldn't.
And that's one thing that I've wondered myself, because my understanding with respect to emails is that you may delete them, but they're really never
They're never deleted. And the thing is, too, she didn't just delete email. She had things going to a private server. That's completely different than like people were saying, well, the Congress has deleted, well, but they're still using the government email. They're not using private servers. They have their own email. It'd be like Brian Belchik at .gov or whatever.
Yeah, and it gets archived.
Yeah, it gets archived. But it'd be different than if I had Brian Belchik at Belchik, .net or whatever.
Belchik's Mansion,
Yeah, Belchik
Southampton.
Mansion, Southampton.
But other people have done that too. Gowdy even did it. He used his own private email.
But he's
Right.
not Secretary of State.
Well, Powell did too, right? Didn't he use the private server?
Well, okay, so when Powell did it, Powell's the
it's
one.
new, I
It was
get
new. He introduced it. He was the first. He's the first Secretary of State to ever have email. So he kind of introduced. So there's kind of really no rules for it. But we've evolved past that, even from whatever Gowdy did. We've evolved past that. I'm sorry. I will not give this woman the benefit of the doubt because she hasn't earned it with me. She knows better. She's too decisive. I mean, she knows the deal, and I don't understand.
Do I think that she was cutting corners because she's Hillary Clinton and she figures she's the Secretary of State? Yeah, I think that she probably was. Do I think the corners that she cut, does that give rise to a federal prosecution? I don't see it.
So my question was, and this popped up after the fact. I guess this was it set up under Bill Clinton or for Bill Clinton, and then Hillary, he had access to this, or to the server.
Yes.
Was
Well,
he
I think what you're talking about, when you're saying a server, are you
the
talking
server
about
within their home that they used?
Okay.
It's an own personal. So it's like there's no attachment to it. So you'd have to
I'm
hack
just
it to get into
asking,
it.
like, did he have access to her files, or because he was a
Yes.
former president, does he have clearance?
I don't think you retain clearance.
I don't know how that works.
It depends on the specific.
Just wondering why he wasn't
The
questioned.
specific document or the specific source of intel, and there's different kinds. I mean, as president, he would have had the top secret security clearance, and I'm assuming that his clearance, once he gets it, is probably like most others, and he would, you would retain that for at least 10 years. Obviously, it's been longer than that since he's been president, but I would think that given a lot of his consulting with presidents, I think as a practical matter, he probably retains the top secret clearance. Now, what I think you're getting at is that there's other subclassifications of it. So all people, like I had a top secret SCI clearance, secret compartmentalized information, which meant that I could be read into probably some of the highest levels of intelligence that there is, but the purpose of it is that it's compartmentalized, meaning only those people with a need to know should have access to it. So there probably was some intel that he probably should not have had access to, and I don't know that there's any evidence that he actually accessed
I don't think he
it.
would. I don't give him enough credit to have know the ability to look at it.
Right.
I'm just saying, I'm just curious as to why they didn't even question him at all. Like, she's not even placed under oath. It's done.
Well, she wasn't
3
placed under
hours.
oath on
It's
Saturday.
not recorded.
She was originally.
Bill's never questioned. It's
under
just
oath.
a lot of questions about their investigation.
But in my own dealings with the FBI, and what I understand other lawyers frequently do, is that when they talk to the FBI, they're like, no, as a condition for me talking to you and waiving my Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination, we're going to do it off the record, and it's not going to be under oath. And the FBI can either say yes or no.
Huh. Interesting. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We'll get more into this. You can tell it's just getting started, and we're going to get back on Bernie a little bit. We got off that one. Make sure we stick on that a little bit, and then we'll talk a little Black Lives Matter when we get back. Thanks. Be right back.
You walk onto this campus, and it feels as though you're at an Ivy League institution.
It is cultured in so many ways. You would never know that it is a 2-year college.
This place is truly amazing. I love going to school here.
It is definitely not like any other community college.
If you're looking for a way for your life to change, then Lewis and Clark is the place for you to be.
Calc Institute of Technology is working for you with career programs for today's jobs. As a career student, you can expect a welcoming atmosphere with exceptional personal service, small classes with one-on-one attention, a set class schedule, and short-term programs that will get you into the workforce quickly. Calc has 2 locations for your convenience, located in both Alton and Fairview Heights. For more information, visit Calc online at www.calc.edu.
Roper's Regal Beagle, located on Godfrey Road, is the Metro East premier sports bar and grill. Open Sunday through Thursday till 2 a.m. and Fridays and Saturdays till 3 a.m. At Roper's Regal Beagle, you will enjoy some of the area's best pizza from their wood-fired pizza oven. There is also a full kitchen offering a huge variety, as well as a soup and salad bar. Sports fans, Roper's Regal Beagle is the place to watch the game. 27 TVs, NFL ticket, Big Ten, Pac-12, and streaming local high school sports.
Roku is a small device that connects to your TV for instant streaming over your internet connection. Not only can you watch Netflix, Hulu, and over 600 other channels, you can also stream RBTV straight to your television. Search for RiverBender on Roku.com to subscribe to our free channel.
Right. Hey, welcome back. You're with Brian and John and special guest Julie on We Might Disagree. We were just talking about Hillary and some of her great wiggle room and how to get out of stuff. John brought some legal insight to it. I do want to get back to Bernie, though. So, there's theories out there that former presidents who lost originally endorsed, right, and then went to the convention and ended up coming out with the nominee as a nominee, right? So is there a feeling that could happen?
I've read that. Yeah, I would say that there's hope that would happen. Now, I haven't actually researched this myself, so I'm going off what I've read today.
Not on Facebook.
Since things are, it's on Facebook. It must be true. That FDR was actually, he endorsed, I don't remember who he ran against, but anyway, he endorsed that person and then went to a contested convention and ended up coming out ahead. Now, right now, Bernie's focus is obviously going to be going to the convention.
I think that's true, by the way. I think it's like on the 3rd ballot or so.
Yeah.
I just want, I don't know the...
So what I think what happened with Roosevelt is that the candidate he was endorsing, I don't remember his name, it may have been Wilkie, I'm not sure. But anyway, that candidate did not get a sufficient number of votes, and so once that happened, then the voters at the convention were free to vote elsewhere. And I think on the 3rd ballot, I think that's when FDR.
Right, and pledged delegates and super delegates are both up for that they can change their votes at the convention. I didn't know that pledged delegates.
I'm not
move.
sure that they had super delegates.
They probably didn't. That's yeah.
I think it's a relatively recent phenomenon.
Yeah, it was 1932. He went into a contested convention and came out the nominee.
Yeah.
Right. So right now, I think Bernie's goal, and I know that his campaign actually contacted delegates this morning before any of this went down. I'm talking like 6:30 in the morning, 7, depending on where they lived, and just basically said, go to Philly. He needs all 1,900 of them at Philly, and a lot of these people, I don't know if anyone actually knows how expensive it is to be a delegate. They want you at a secure location. It's almost a $4,000 trip. So, we've got Hillary's people who are, it's probably all paid for. They're rich. Bernie's trying to fund, or the people are funding themselves. Or Bernie supporters are funding his delegates to get there, and to be able to be at the convention in these secure locations. So the convention's going to be the big thing, where he's going to try to obviously fight for the platform he wants.
I think he's got a shot. What do you think? I mean, with all...
history does repeat itself. I know he doesn't. I'm going to hold out hope for another few weeks. Let me stay on the crazy train for 2 more weeks.
All right. Well, I don't know if it's a crazy... I just really feel like people are going to wake up and go, man, she's really done some bad stuff. This guy's just a nice guy.
Well, and he's setting himself up for in a good position for if something were to come down on Hillary, where she wasn't, she lost her security clearance or whatever.
She didn't.
Well, they're working on perjury charges right now, I believe. But another focus for him is down ballot Bernie-crats, he calls them, people that he's endorsed and that are progressives, down ballot, like for House of Representatives, Senate, whatnot.
So, John, realistically, what shot does Bernie have at this?
I think slim to none.
Slim to none?
Yeah. Could something happen? Sure.
I think if it's not a Clinton, he's got a legitimate shot. But you're talking about a Clinton. Listen, here's a president, two-term president. She's Secretary of State. She's senator.
And you can say whatever you want to about the Clintons, but they're ruthless, but effective.
They are.
And that's one of the reasons why they were able to secure the nomination for Bill Clinton, is that they were ruthless, and they are ruthless.
I just want to add, too, that I do, I think that there's also some investigations going on into the Clinton Foundation.
There is.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to go conspiracy theory on you here. I heard that could bring down the entire government.
I will tell you this. I would say that at that level, almost everybody's under some form or some level of investigation. You know what I mean? There's always an accusation being thrown at somebody.
Plus, from what I understand, what the Clinton Foundation does, if you're going to scrutinize, that foundation, you're going to be scrutinizing the most powerful people in America.
Yep.
And
which is why you don't do it.
That's why the Panama Papers got buried and never heard any more.
Panama.
Remember the Panama Papers?
Oh, yeah.
A few months ago?
Yeah. A lot of things get buried with the Clintons.
Yeah.
Lawyers.
People.
Yeah, it's, I thought Bernie got the nod, so he just said, okay, I'll do it. I don't want to have that mysterious heart attack.
Oh, yeah, and we just, we talked about the guy who had the bar fall on his neck while he was weightlifting, and then last weekend, some other person set to testify against Clintons for election fraud. 27-year-old turns up shot dead in his house, 4 a.m.
Wow.
Just suspicious.
Well,
the body count increases.
There's an actual. Have you seen that? I don't want to get into conspiracy theories.
Yeah, no.
Show, but
we could have a whole show on those.
Have you gone? Have you seen it? You go to Google it. Clinton body count, and it's incredible. It's interesting. I don't know how true it is. It's a lot.
We should stop talking about her.
They know a lot of people. Do me a favor. I don't think he has a shot either. I think if there's anybody but a Clinton, I think they're just too powerful.
Now, where I think he has an opportunity, and I think Bernie's probably smart enough to realize that this is his opportunity, is to demand concessions from Hillary in exchange for the endorsement on some of his policy positions. And I think that if she were smart,
she'll do it.
She would do it.
TPP is going to be a huge one. I mean, she needs to budge on.
I think she's against TPP.
Well, it depends on what weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
in the platform right now because of her people.
I'm not bashing her, but that's just it depends on what week it is with her. I mean, I can't tell you I can tell you Trump's against it.
She says she's against it, but her people that she appointed to the Democratic Platform Committee voted it in.
It's a really bad deal. From what I hear.
But they didn't vote. They voted for a lot of Bernie did get some stuff on the platform. So
right.
I don't want to take it all away.
And that may be a ceremonial carrot that they'll give them also to change their position on the TPP.
I hope so.
And I think what I love about this year more than anything is people are interested in politics. Finally, people are learning. It's not people aren't very happy, but what you're going through with Bernie, that's been going on since we've been a country. It's nothing new. It's politics. It's
kind of like sports, though. It's like you have to remember that every team loses their last game except whoever the champion is.
Yeah.
That's the same thing in politics.
It is.
Everybody's going to be disappointed that their particular horse didn't win.
Yep.
And so the question is, as a society, what do you do with that?
And I think, it's dirty. It's not clean. It's not a pretty game.
But it never has been.
No, people say to me, "Why don't you run?" I'm like, I am not. I will be a critic. I am not getting in that mess.
Right.
No way am I getting in that mess. Because it's not nice. Even at local levels, it's not nice.
Oh,
and I'm just not that type of person. I'm an honest person. I'm not going to be out there saying.
You can imagine how if it's this dirty. Let's just say in Alton politics.
Yeah.
Imagine how dirty it is up there.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. And the Clintons had the best of the best. So it's I think that's what's so surprising about Donald Trump. He doesn't have the best of the best, and he's still chugging along.
What's scary,
he's bringing on the best, though, I think.
I mean, he has the potential with his own personal wealth to have much more dramatic impact, and yet one thing that bothers me a little bit about him is that you don't see him really with much desire to spend his own money. From what I understand about the finances of his campaign, he's being paid back a lot of the money that he put into it.
Yeah, they're paying him back.
Yeah, and so I kind of, it's sort of like, do you really believe in yourself if you're really, because I think his campaign is at a choke point.
some trouble.
I think that it desperately needs cash. And one thing that people that are political neophytes aren't seeing the impact, but I see, is people don't appreciate the impact that the negative campaigning is going to have on Donald Trump, because Hillary's already got the ad buy for, she's locked up most of the best time slots between now and November, and that drumbeat of Donald Trump as, you know, a slumlord, Donald Trump as, you know, screwing this guy out of his fees for the architecture, for, you know, the clubhouse. And, you know, there's all these little vignettes that they're going to play. By the end of the campaign, you're going to have a hard time finding anybody in America that wants to vote for Donald Trump.
I disagree with that.
I do too, because I feel like Comey just laid out a whole
and not only just that, I think so.
Attack.
So this is what's good, and this is what is what it's interesting. So when you look at how you say Trump isn't spending the money, isn't okay. So there's age groups, and John, our producer, can probably speak even more to this.
Because I'm old? What are you saying?
No, we're the same age, bro.
Oh.
So what I'm saying is, so I post almost every day a commercial that Donald Trump runs on Facebook. Every day he puts 2 to 3 commercials out on Twitter, and out on Facebook, and out on Instagram. You and me, for the most part, don't get our news from Facebook and all that, but that's one section. If you look at what Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders have done, there's a whole nother group of voters coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the ones he's focusing on. I think Hillary's going for the guaranteed Democrat. There's not these younger people, they're not Democrats or Republicans. They like, I like that dude, or I don't like that dude. That's who they are, and they buy that.
I see a lot of young kids who, you know, just because Trump is kind of who he is, I love Trump.
There's two problems with your analysis. One, there's only so many TV slots, there's only so many hours in the day, there's only so many eyeballs are going to see Facebook and all that stuff. Most people still, it's the television set, it's the radio program.
You still think it's the TV?
Oh yeah, but the people,
so Mr. Producer.
but the people,
it's the internet.
It is. It's the internet.
And they've always said, whichever, you know, and this has been true with every new technology, that whoever masters, you know, the TV, or whoever masters social media, which I feel like Bernie
did
a great
very
job.
well with it.
And whoever mastered, you know, back then it was radio. Did those politicians have, you know, the ones that were able to master the new technology were winners?
I think he needs to do TV commercials. So, listen, we got to take a break. We'll get right back on this. This is good. This is a good topic. I like this. So, we'll be right back. Listen to Brian John, special guest Julie. We might disagree. Be right back.
Heart-pounding excitement is what you will find around every corner with the new Polaris Slingshot. It's like surfing pavement. After just one test drive, you will be ready to ditch the sports car, the Harley, or the sports bike and settle into the hottest thing in the street. With a 2.4-liter GM power plant churning out 173 horsepower, you will feel the adrenaline rush of a lifetime. Come on down to Midwest Motorsports on Route 3 in Hartfield, Illinois. We would love to take you for a ride.
I'll grab the birthday cake, you bring the gift, if you're sure she's ready.
She's 16, honey, and she's earned a set of keys.
She's studied and practiced, I know, but it's a big responsibility.
When you have a teen driver, it's good to know that Madison Mutual has the insurance coverage you need.
She's ready, and so are we. I talked to our Madison Mutual agent.
Call Barry Macias, your local independent insurance agent, at 467-2874.
The more life changes, the more you need Madison Mutual.
You walk onto this campus and it feels as though you're at an Ivy League institution.
It is cultured in so many ways. You would never know that it is a 2-year college.
This place is truly amazing. I love going to school here.
It is definitely not like any other community college.
If you're looking for a way for your life to change, then Lewis and Clark is the place for you to be.
Roku is a small device that connects to your TV for instant streaming over your internet connection. Not only can you watch Netflix, Hulu, and over 600 other channels, you can also stream RiveTV straight to your television. Search for RiverBender on Roku.com to subscribe to our free channel.
Okay, we're back with We Might Disagree. Brian John, special guest Julie. We've been talking Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, a lot of information, right? Yeah, you know,
little Donald Trump,
and I think we're still going to stick with that beat for a minute. So,
Here's my problem with Donald Trump. And
we're talking internet, and not problem with Donald Trump.
Well, and I don't see him having a mastery of the internet. So, that is one of the distinctions between him and Obama. Obama really, his crew was on the cutting edge of the internet, and it was the differential. And that's why the conservatives believed that Romney was going to win, and how Nate Silver and the 538 crowd and people like me, they're smart enough to listen to Nate Silver, knew that Obama was going to be elected because there's a whole generation, like you talked about, that use social media, internet to get their source of information. And I think that's great, but I don't see Donald Trump as breaking down any new doors.
No, I'm not saying he's breaking it down. I'm saying he's using that. And using it better than Obama did, from what I see.
Well, I mean, he does use Twitter, but I think it gets him in more trouble than otherwise.
He needs to stay off of Twitter.
Yes.
And that's why I actually find myself going to see what he said, because he's insane, and it's like it's I know, but
it's a train wreck. Everybody wants to look at the train wreck.
It is.
Yeah, but that's not what you want from your president.
No,
well,
for sure.
A train wreck, you stay focused on Clinton and all the testimonies and scandals.
Say whatever you want about Hillary Clinton. At the end of the day, when you're having a debate, when you have a debate with conservatives and they think that Donald Trump is going to win, the question you have to ask, and I've said it before, I'm going to continue to say it, tell me what states he's going to win. Tell me the contested states that he's going to pull in.
I will not tell you that he's going to win until I hear who his VP pick is.
And we're probably going to hear that, I think, by Friday.
Yeah. I hope it's Gingrich. I love Gingrich. I love the man.
I think he appeals to an older segment.
He does.
Of
he's
Republicans, which
I think he's very. I love Gingrich.
Somebody needs to pick up the millennial. That's the second biggest group right now. And I'm saying a majority of them were for Bernie.
They don't vote. That's the problem. They don't get out and vote.
Are they going to vote?
They
at this point, honestly, I don't know.
That's the other thing about.
Well, you saw them lined up around colleges for the primaries.
Yeah.
But I think the choices are going to be Mike Pence from Indiana, Gummer, former member of the House, and Chris Christie.
Excuse me.
It ain't Chris Christie.
Yeah.
That would be a train wreck.
Yeah, I think it's Gingrich.
I do too.
And here's what worries me about Gingrich with him is he's a lot like Trump. He's a little more subtle, but he's very aggressive. I mean, he's an aggressive guy, but he's a very intelligent guy. You're not going to like this, but you remind me of Newt. When I talk, because it's a compliment, because I like Newt. But Newt's good at twisting something and walk you right into a corner. He's great at it, and I think when it comes to foreign policy, who knows more about that than him? He knows more than Obama. I mean, he'll unravel ISIS in 2 weeks. I mean, he's that good. So I hope it's Newt. It better not be Christie.
I feel like it'll be Newt too.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mr. Producer, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't have any.
I think it might be Christie.
No guesses?
No guesses.
$50 on anyone?
I hope it's not. If it's Christie, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like her.
You're going to vote for the Green candidate.
Yep, Jill Stein. Here we go.
So we're talking about internet, and I think if you look at Black Lives Matter, what's moved that movement greatly is internet. I follow them on Twitter. I follow them on Facebook. I follow them on Instagram, and I see the. I mean, I guess they've got probably more than one Twitter page, I would suspect. But man, they're not really that nice of people.
Well,
they're just not nice, man. I don't like them. I'll be honest with you.
Every person involved with it?
No, you can't say that. I mean, I think I don't like what the movement stands for. Let's put it that way. I don't like the way it's directed. And I'm trying to understand it, and I'm trying to understand. How do you, and this is my question, John, and this is what's going to get going, I know. And
let's get it going. Come on, bring it.
Team Black Lives Matter over here.
But it's common sense. How do you ignore 2,000 shootings in Chicago alone so far this year, and 4 people killed by police officers? That, by the way, I've not seen a video yet where a cop walked up and shot somebody. So let's talk about a cop. A cop is there for a reason. You've done something. Okay, you've done something to bring that police officer to.
You do have a presumption of innocence in our society,
but you've done something.
Right.
So we'll just talk about Alton Sterling, because I don't know much about the man with the conceal and carry. I know the girl, I saw a video today of her smoking pot with her kid in the back seat and videoing herself like a 7-minute selfie. So I don't want to know about that.
But what does that have to do with the use of force?
Well, I don't know what took place is what I'm saying. I don't know. It was a pullover for a broken taillight. There's questions of why he moved. You know, I don't know.
Well,
You're saying the shooting wasn't recorded, so.
The shooting wasn't recorded. I haven't heard anything. I saw her and the police exchange some comments about, you said get your wallet, and he says, I didn't say that or something. And there is a process. It doesn't look good to me, I can tell you that from what I saw.
Well, let me speak to this from the perspective of a lawyer who's actually tried cases in court on both sides. So I think
you're saying I haven't tried a case in court?
I am saying that
right,
unequivocally that you have not. You've not even tried to pretend to be a lawyer. Not even pretended that you've actually tried a case in court. I've actually tried it on both sides. So I've represented police officers in allegations of excessive force, and I've sued police officers for excessive force. In each of these cases, you have to be very factually specific. So I have a different view of the Eric Garner case and the Mike Brown case than I do some of these other cases.
Right.
I think the Mike Brown case, and you know, some of my folks that are Black Lives Matter advocates, not go like this, but I've studied the evidence. I studied the autopsy reports from the Brown family's own expert, the entrance and exit wounds, the whole 9 yards, and I think that was a justified shooting. But I do think that some of these more recent ones, you know, some of them are not justified shooting. So I don't have an axe to grind one way or the other. I think that each of these shootings, you have got to, on a microscopic level, look at all the circumstances that were presented, and you have to give the cops the benefit of the doubt. But some of these, even at the end of the day, there's no reason why Eric Garner is dead today. You have 6 to 8 police officers surrounding the man, putting him in a chokehold because he was selling Lucy cigarettes. You're not going to justify that case to me.
No, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I've dealt with aggressive police officers before, and I first of all, I support the police. I'm with you. I give them the benefit of the doubt. I do think there's some police that may have an authoritarian attitude.
Yeah.
You know, I've also done a ride-along with police. Have you ever done one of those over in North County? It's interesting. Well, it was in 1992. I can't imagine it's gotten better. So, you know, to some degree, working in Ferguson for 3 years, I've seen the interactions between the two. They're both guilty of disrespecting each other. But at the end of the day, one's the law and one's not.
Right.
You know? Now, to shoot somebody, I mean, I don't know. You got to look at the evidence. For me, with Black Lives Matter, so if you're so worried, if I'm a black person, and I'm not, for you that are listening on radio, I'm not a black person. If I believe in my heart that every cop that comes up to my car is out to kill me, I'm not reaching for anything. I'm putting my hands on the steering wheel and I'm not moving, man. Cop says, show me this. Hey, man, here you go. I'm terrified, right? I mean, I'm already that way because I worry about it, you know, because everybody's terrified. Right. So I don't buy this.
But sometimes that fear is misinterpreted as guilt.
But
I'm just saying that I've seen videos where people have talked about that. Why are you so nervous?
Yeah.
Well, you say misinterpreted. Where is the room for error? Human error. Maybe he's not a racist cop. Maybe he made a legitimate mistake, like every one of us make in our jobs every day.
Yeah, but if it takes somebody's life, if we make a mistake taking somebody's life, we're held accountable for that. And I don't question that. I don't.
But it happens in the medical field. It happens in every other field. And
I mean, like,
it doesn't create a movement across the entire country for Black Lives Matter.
No, and statistically, it doesn't support the movement.
I'm sorry, I'm just
you're
over here.
You're good. You're part of the. Everybody's part of this conversation. And this is what needs to happen. This is, you know, we're nervous about talking about this. I don't need 50 Facebook people telling me I'm racist. I'm not a damn racist. I'm not. I don't buy into Black Lives Matter. I don't buy it.
I know.
It doesn't.
But you don't believe in white privilege either.
I don't. I don't see it. Right. I haven't experienced it.
Well, you don't.
That's the whole point of
you
white
don't know
privilege
it because you have it.
It's invisible.
No, I've worked for everything I have. If people knew my history of what I've gone through to get to where I am, listen, nothing's been handed to me. I never use any excuses. Is it easier for me than some of the projects? Yes, I will acknowledge that.
All right.
There you go. That's step one.
I will acknowledge that. But that's not an excuse to behave poorly.
And I'm not here to justify people that be.
I am going to go officially on record. Okay, well, I'm going to go officially on record. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to tell you when I converted from a Democrat to a Republican or a conservative. I will make that announcement.
Or when you lost religion, is that what you're?
Oh no, we'll be right back. Thank you.
Why should you bring your vehicle to Quick Lane at Roberts Motors? You never need an appointment, just drive on in. Quick Lane has the guaranteed lowest tire prices around. Plus, we perform a multi-point inspection of the critical items on your vehicle at no charge every time you visit. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, or any other make, Quick Lane can service it. We're even open on Saturdays. Stop by Quick Lane at Roberts Motors today. Come see why life is better in the Quick Lane.
Heart-pounding excitement is what you will find around every corner with the new Polaris Slingshot. It's like surfing pavement. After just one test drive, you will be ready to ditch the sports car, the Harley, or the sports bike and settle into the hottest thing in the street. With a 2.4-liter GM power plant churning out 173 horsepower, you will feel the adrenaline rush of a lifetime. Come on down to Midwest Motorsports on Route 3 in Hartwell, Illinois. We would love to take you for a ride.
All right, sir, we finished all the services on your car. They'll take it over for your complimentary car wash, and they'll call you when it's ready.
Okay, we're back to We Might Disagree, and boy, I'll tell you, we've landed on one today. All right, so I've always been a Democrat person. I was never really a big Bill Clinton person. I was really never into politics a whole lot until I had I lost my brother in Iraq. I got a little more involved in politics. So I went to work in Ferguson. It's going to sound really bad, but it's not bad. It's just, I got to work in Ferguson. I love Ferguson, by the way, and I want to make that crystal clear. I love the people over there. I have a great many friends over there. But when I got over there, I was shell-shocked. I told my wife, there's a part of the country that we have that I didn't even know existed. You know, I didn't understand low income. Okay, I didn't understand that. I'd never really seen. I thought I was low income, and I had been. Oh, I have been. Trust me.
You've not been in the ghetto low income.
Homeless is worse than ghetto. So I've been as low as a person can get. Okay, so I get that. What I didn't get and didn't understand was, and I'll go back to Katrina. I remember saying to Hurricane Katrina, why are these people not leaving? I couldn't grasp it. Okay, I couldn't grasp my hands around. Why would you live 20 feet below sea level and know hurricanes and stay there? When I got to Ferguson, I understood it. The government has fed, housed, clothed, transported some of these people. They're 2, 3, 4 generations. Yes, the government should have got them out of Hurricane Katrina. Should have got them out. I want that cycle broke. I see greatness in black people. I see a lot of greatness in black people. I have a lot of great black friends over there, over here. They don't deserve to live like that. They're way better than that. But they're under this palm. I see it with family members of mine that are on this disability. You can't make this much money or you lose it. So they hold you down with it. And that's when I went to a lesser government. The more government gets involved in people's lives, the more destruction they do. So black people have an issue that I don't know how to help them with it. I don't know. You know, I don't have that answer. I'm not going to have to.
Well, here's how if you really want to fix it. Let's have a conversation on how to fix it. Because we can talk about Black Lives Matter till we're blue in the face. But the bottom line is this. What Black Lives Matter and other people like myself are complaining about is that African Americans historically have been relegated to neighborhoods that are basically the neighborhoods where nobody else wants to live.
Right.
And you've got redlining by banks, things. You've got restrictive covenants, which means that, you know, historically African Americans couldn't purchase a home in a particular neighborhood. You've got realtors and real estate agents steering people of color away from certain neighborhoods. You've got all this different stuff going on. So what ends up happening is you have African Americans living in these communities that are economically depressed.
Correct.
And they don't have the ability, because of some of these historical obstacles, to get out of those places. And as a consequence, what we do in this country is very benign, but it's also very, very dangerous. It's very destructive of African American families and their opportunity for progress. Our educational system is tied to property values.
Right.
So if African Americans are tied to economically depressed areas, and that's where the income comes from, those depressed property values, they're going to have substandard education as a natural approximate result. So if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we do away with funding our educational system through property taxes, and we have a statewide system that has equality of funding of education, so that a person who lives in North St. Louis has an equal chance of somebody that grows up in Clayton to have an equal education. If we're serious about that, that's how you do it.
Yes.
So
other countries do that.
No, well, other countries do a lot.
They don't have private schools. It's all, like, I mean, I'm just saying, we do have private schools here, but I can't think of which country it is, but I can find that out for you, where they, the wealthy, they want the schools to be good. And, this kid who lives in this poor community is going to go to this school. So everybody's invested in the schools just across the board because
I think it starts in school. I agree with that. I need to look at more of it to see how you pay for it. What you're saying makes sense, and I get it. I said they're caught in a
bad cycle.
Bad cycle, and I want to I want them out of it. I don't want them in it. But Black Lives Matter. It's you can't ignore every night on TV, and it happened right here in Alton. We lost a little 11-year-old boy, was shot. His cousin carried him into his mom, and nothing. I saw nothing. I didn't see anybody. I saw nothing. 11-year-old boy, man. So don't tell me Black Lives Matter to you. No, they don't. They matter to you when a white cop shoots you. You think it's bad, and maybe it is bad. Maybe you're upset about it. Maybe you should be. I get it, but don't call it Black Lives Matter. Call it something else, because that's not what it is. It's not what it is to me. I'm sorry. It's hypocritical. I literally cried when that little boy was killed. I had to explain to my kids. He went to school with my neighbor's kids. I had to explain to my kids how this happened. And there was nothing done. And I'm sorry, I lost all, not that I had much respect for it to begin with. I just felt like it's a rally cry. I think Michael Brown was the wrong case to pick to start this movement. There's probably some good ones out there to do it on. I'm sure there's been some bad shootings. I saw the one where the cop shot that guy in the back. That's straight up murder. These two recent ones, I don't know. We'll wait to see what happens. And if they're bad shots, they need to go to jail. Absolutely. But Black Lives Matter to me, it's just a hate group. Like the Black Panthers or the KKK or neo-Nazi skinheads or any other group with a bunch of tattoos that runs around saying hateful things about other Americans. Wasn't it Black Lives Matter that was saying that America was never great?
I'm not a spokesperson for Black Lives Matter.
You sounded like one a minute ago. So.
But my point is that they add a conversation that is needed in this country, which is
advocating killing police is the conversation.
I don't think that group is advocating for the killing.
They are. I can show you plenty of videos of them marching through Ferguson. It's shouting, what do we want pigs? What do we want them dead? When?
Okay, I saw what I think it was something about pigs in a blanket.
Pigs in a blanket. It was kill cops. The guy tweeted to the Attorney General, I believe, even something like that.
I can pull up Trump videos that make people look bad. I'm just saying, like, people say dumb stuff. Right.
And you cannot measure an entire movement
based on a couple people coming up with a chant that they think's funny.
1,000 people marching down the highway is not a couple people.
This was my thing on Black Lives Matter, and I'm not sure if it went down on your Facebook or where, but I thought you were in on it. When we bantered back and forth, and I talked about how civil rights is relatively, I don't want to say new, but you got to think 50 to 60 years ago, those people are they were born, without some of the rights that they have today. So, slavery was 150 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. I feel like a lot of these things happen, and then as white people, they just brush it under the rug. It's like...
well, why do you hang on to something 150 years ago?
Well, because it sets up a precedence for the people. Yes,
there's another factor that
I'm
people...
like half Indian. We got slaughtered. I don't care. Should have fought better.
But
Yeah, that's how I see it.
there's one thing that you need to understand, and this is science, okay? This isn't my opinion. There's a thing called colorism. Colorism is a natural psychological tendency of all people throughout the entire world. It's true in every culture that they view people with darker skin pigment as being lesser, evil, savage. I mean, it's true. I mean, we've done studies in this country. And what's interesting is that the African American community themselves view themselves this way. In part,
I think so, because they're the biggest killers of their own people.
Well, but hear me out.
I will.
All right. The point is that every group, every culture, even people of African American descent, view dark-skinned people as a negative. And so when you're talking about slavery, you have to, abolishing slavery didn't abolish colorism. You know, and we still have, even today, we have instances of demonstrable prejudice. For example, if I have a resume of George and Shaniqua, and they have the exact same credentials, if I send that resume in, guess who gets the second interview? It isn't Shaniqua. So there is a natural prejudice that still exists even on this.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it's on both sides of
Depends
that?
who that resume is going to.
Yeah, what if it's going to a African American? Really?
No, I've actually heard that too. I think it was on like Dateline or 2020. They did like a.
Well, 2020 is pretty reliable. 60 minutes. I like 60 minutes.
Well,
So,
it was something like that, but I did.
Here's my thing. I'm not gonna. Okay, that probably does exist. I don't think that way.
I mean, there's studies,
One of my great
numerous
mentors-
studies that reinforce the conclusion. So it's not one study,
No,
it's
I
not two,
get
it's
it.
like 20
But
or
I'm
30
saying
or 40.
Not everybody thinks that way. So if you don't want me
And
to
our
bundle,
kids don't think that way, and
No.
millennials think that way less than the older generation.
And I do believe, and I've always said this, that hate is taught. You're not born with hate in your heart. It's taught, and it's taught from the parents. You know,
It's taught from parents. It's taught from friends at
TV,
school. It's taught from
it's taught. But if
just.
but my thing is this: I experienced racism when I worked in Ferguson as a white person. I experienced it personally. Now I still love that store. I still shop in it constantly. I love the people over there. I didn't bundle everybody that way because I had a few ding dongs that didn't know how to react around a white person. You know, whatever. If that's who you are in your heart, that's who you are in your heart. What you say exists goes on. I'm sure it does, but that doesn't mean everybody's that way.
No, it does mean everybody's that way.
You're saying I'm that way.
I'm saying that if you do a study in every single part of the world, you will find that what I'm talking about exists. It's pervasive. It's and the people don't realize they're doing it.
Well, that's sad.
But it is a subconscious. It's a subconscious trait that people have, and it's been done in all kinds of different ways. It's been done, for example, somebody will run into a room, they'll grab a purse, and they'll run out, and then it's like a 3-second vignette.
Say it was a black guy or something.
Right. So you know, there's all kinds of situations like that where our subconscious bias is revealed, and it's scientific. So we can argue that doesn't exist, but it's not true.
So does then I guess the question is, does the Black Lives Matter movement help that?
And you can argue, like you are, that they do more harm than good. But their point is, and I understand it, I don't always agree with it, but I understand it, which is that business as usual has gotten them nowhere. Mm-hmm. So they, and in particular this is true of the younger people in their movement, they're like, you know what? That civil rights stuff and the soup kitchen or the soup counters and the sit-ins and all that stuff that you did, that was years ago. We don't want that. This is our movement now.
But they're not addressing the bigger issue. All right.
They may not have the articulate way to describe what you and I are just talking about. I don't know. I mean, but because they may not know about colorism themselves.
Well, that's the first I've heard of it. All right. Well, we're past our hour. Julie, thanks for coming on again. We're going to still do our great show we're talking about doing. I think we're leaving with more questions than answers. I didn't know about colorism. It's
So
horrible.
look it up.
I'm gonna.
Well, and look on the Michael Moore, where to invade last. He talks,
I'm not looking at
yes, you
anything
have
Michael
to.
Moore.
He talks about Germany and that they, just.
All right, we can. Mr. Producer just gave us an extra 10, so we'll do a quick commercial and we'll come right back.
You walk onto this campus and it feels as though you're at an Ivy League institution.
It is cultured in so many ways. You would never know that it is a 2-year college.
This place is truly amazing. I love going to school here.
It is definitely not like any other community college.
If you're looking for a way for your life to change, then Lewis and Clark is the place for you to be.
Come on, guys, we're only up by 1 run. I need some insurance. Let's go.
Put me in, Coach. I can get you some insurance.
AmFam G-Man at the plate. Here's the pitch. Swing and a long one. A home run for AmFam G-Man.
Hit a home run with my team, a winning team. Let me protect your dreams. Call me, Gerard Fisher, 466-7062. Come on, Coach.
American Family Insurance.
Roku is a small device that connects to your TV for instant streaming over your internet connection. Not only can you watch Netflix, Hulu, and over 600 other channels, you can also stream RBTV straight to your television. Search for RiverBender on Roku.com to subscribe to our free channel.
All right, we're back. So thanks, Mr. Producer, for extending our time a little bit here so we can talk a little more about this, because this is a good conversation. I like to learn. I always say I learn from John. I hope I don't have colorism in me.
Everybody, I have it.
Well, shame on you.
Everyone has it. That's the point of the movement, is to say, you know what, let's own the fact that we are human beings, that we like people that are like us, we have a natural fear for people that are different than us, and that has consequences in our society. But, like I said before, if you're not seeing that this kind of subconscious behavior has an impact. You and I came probably from parents from European descent in the late, probably early 1900s, 1910, thereabout. Where a lot of people do. And so a lot of people say the same thing, which is, I wasn't the beneficiary of any of that. My ancestors were the beneficiary of that. And what I respond to people is like, if you don't realize that you were born on second base, you're not paying attention, okay? If you think that your life is as challenging as someone from North St. Louis that goes to a school with hardly any textbooks, there's data for things now. That a child...
No books in the home.
Well, and the vocabulary. The difference between the vocabulary of an African-American child by the time they reach the age 4 is thousands upon thousands of words below what the vocabulary is of a 4-year-old child that grows up.
So let me ask you a question. Why isn't Black Lives Matter talking about that? Because if Black Lives Matter is talking about that, they've got my attention.
I think that they are in part talking about that.
They're talking about police shootings.
Well, this morning they had a great spokeswoman on. I wish I knew her name. I was listening to her, and I do not watch mainstream media, but I did today.
That I would jump on board on. That I would support.
She talked about colorism and.
I would say, you're telling me that just because a kid lives in a certain part of the country is 4,000 or 5,000 words behind, so a kid lives somewhere else in the country. I have a problem.
Well, you
with
look at
that.
Appalachia; it's the same thing, and they're white kids. I mean,
here in St. Louis.
Yeah, it doesn't black. To me, it's about being American.
Here in St. Louis, there are studies that are done, and I can, if anybody doesn't believe them, I'll be happy to give you the string side. Yeah, but I'll post the studies. But you have zip codes that are literally right next to each other, and one's predominantly white and one's predominantly black, and the differences between those two zip codes, even though they're right next to each other, is a phenomenal difference in terms of the mortality rate.
Yep.
The mortality rate of African Americans, I believe, this is off the top of my head, is somewhere on the order of about 10 years less than...
I thought 12, so we're...
Yeah, so somewhere in that range. That... And the people say, well, that's because, more white people are educated. There is actually a statistic that says it doesn't matter if an African-American woman is educated or not, okay? So take the educated. It doesn't matter if she's educated. She is more likely to lose a child at childbirth than a white, uneducated, unemployed female.
Why is that, though? I mean, is that just nature?
You know, it's an interesting, very
because I don't know where we could fix that.
Well, it could be a health concern, maybe, you know, like.
It's a lot of variables, but some of them are historic attitudes and practices with respect to medical care. I mean, I don't know that we have enough time to go into each and every one of them, but I mean that is an actual, because people always say, well, you know, those people, and they would just better themselves, and that's the statistic that cuts through all of that. That the experience, the lives of African Americans in this country are demonstrably different than the lives of white people and Asian people and Hispanic people.
And I would not disagree with that totally. A little bit maybe, but not totally. So I guess my point is, though, I don't see them talking about that. I don't see them. Okay, what you're saying to me is very interesting, and I think it's something we need to dig deeper into and really talk about. Because when I talked this show, we wanted to make an impact, and this is something that interests me, and it hurts to hear, quite frankly. But I don't see Black Lives Matter talking about that. I don't see them talking about that. To me, it's all about police shootings and nothing else.
Then I'm going to post on your page and on our page some folks that
are out in the streets in Dallas tonight, or somewhere in Atlanta tonight.
But they're affiliated with Black Lives Matter, and they're talking about these things.
Okay.
And they're talking about data.
There are people who are just mad too. I mean, mad about these things, like over.
Okay, but you're standing in the street, you're blocking major highways. Show me those people that are talking about that. Bring me one of them people that's getting paid.
That's
to
nothing
protest.
new, though. I mean, that happens.
Well, what I'm saying is, so George Soros is paying these people to protest. All right, why can't he pay for books for school?
That's a good question.
Listen, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate on it.
And that was my honestly my biggest thing I liked Bernie Sanders for, was that he was addressing the core issues that I believe that would actually assist and help the low-income whites, the low-income blacks. I mean, like I said, I see it in our own towns, just the low-income rates increasing yearly, even dramatically, you know.
We need to bring somebody from Black Lives Matter.
It makes a huge difference.
And I'll post some stuff too.
Yeah, post some stuff. I think it's interesting. You know, this is new to me. It's interesting.
I have a Twitter friend I'll get in touch with too.
Okay, but I don't want anybody here calling me racist.
No, she's a St. Louis person.
That's gonna piss me off because I'm not racist. I get so tired of being labeled.
Sometimes it's not. It's just not understanding or not seeing where they're coming from.
I'm asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, Black Lives Matter. The only thing I've seen on the TV news, okay, and on Twitter and on Facebook and on Instagram,
you can only the TV.
But what I'm saying is, even the people that are coming on talking on the news, they're not talking what you're talking about.
Right.
They're talking about being shot and killed.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about PhD level professors.
I don't even hear Ben Carson talking about this stuff. I don't hear Jesse Jackson talking about Al Sharpton screaming about NRA's racist, which is not. So that's
Cornel West is talking about it.
I felt like Bernie talked about it too.
Yeah, Cornel West. Now I did see him the other day talk about it. I did see him talk about it. So so here's what where are we at on time, Mr. Producer? Okay, we got to go. We've got to cut this show down to an hour. So obviously we're unsettled here. We got more to talk about. Good show. Didn't go the direction I thought I was going to go, but that always happens. That's why you've got to tune into this thing. Didn't take any questions. I apologize. I was pretty wrapped up in listening and trying to learn. Thanks for listening. John, final words, everybody?
Our show is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
And Julie, you're going to still come
2
on.
2 weeks on the crazy train.
2 weeks on the crazy train.
I'm going to stick with Bernie.
So, lock your guns up. Stay tuned. This weekend should be interesting. Take care, people. Thanks. Bye-bye.